We all know Peppa Pig is the best, but did you know it's also home to some hilarious animation mistakes? In this video, we'll be showing you some of the mistakes that we found in the show. In the episode Party Bus, Peppa receives an invite to Candy Cat's birthday party, but the party is on a double-decker party bus. And as we can see here, the bus has only one row of seats. After a short while, everyone is seated, and the bus begins to move. Remember, all the kids are sitting in the same line of seat. But when we see the bus from outside, we can notice that the sitting arrangement is now completely different. Now the kids are sitting in different rows, as inside a normal bus. And that's not all. When the children are preparing to eat, we can notice there are 6 sandwiches on the plate. And Danny, Susie, and Pedro take 1 sandwich each. But look at the plate. There's still 4 sandwiches left, when there should be only 3. In the episode London, Madame Gazelle takes the class to London for the day, where they are given a tour of the city by none other than the Queen of England. When they are waiting for the ship to cross the bridge, we can notice there's some sort of instruction written inside the bus. But when ship crosses the bridge and we get another view of the bus, we can notice that the instruction chart from before isn't there anymore. And that's not all. Throughout the episode, this bell inside the bus keeps appearing and disappearing. In the episode Painting, Peppa and George are painting some pictures. At the beginning, as they are preparing, there are 3 colors: blue, red, and yellow. Peppa dips her brush in the yellow paint, and we can see the yellow color on her brush. However, when the scene switches from George to Peppa, the color on Peppa's brush disappears, even though her canvas remains empty. Moments later, when the scene switches back to Peppa again, the brush has yellow color on it once more. In the episode The Balloon Ride, Peppa and her family visit a town fair where Miss Rabbit is hosting a lucky draw, with the prize being a ride in a hot air balloon. Initially, there is nothing beside the hot air balloon near Miss Rabbit's stall. However, when Peppa wins the lucky draw and they begin their ascent, 2 flagpoles are seen beside the balloon which were not there earlier. Additionally, while the balloon is in the sky and Peppa begins singing, she is shown between Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig. And in the next scene that zooms in on Peppa, she is suddenly at the edge with no one behind her. Furthermore, an anchor rope is visible in front of Peppa, but disappears when she accidentally drops her teddy. And when they attempt to rescue the teddy, the anchor rope reappears in front of Daddy Pig. In the episode Spooky Ghost Hunting, we see that when Peppa and her friends leave the kitchen to look for ghosts, there are 5 pumpkins, 3 bowls, it's on the table. And also, there is nothing on the shelves near the refrigerator except for the clock that says 8 o'clock. And shortly after everyone returns, we can notice that on the left side of the refrigerator, strangely, a large pumpkin appears with a cake that was not there before. And the clock continued to show 8 o'clock, and also on the table, there are now 7 pumpkins and the 3 bowls. Where did the rest come from? In the episode, Mr. Potato comes to town. Everyone in town is excited to meet Mr. Potato. When the pig family arrives at the sports center, notice where they park their car. But the mistake is, when Mr. Potato finally arrives, we can notice that he drives his car right through the spot where Pig Family had parked their car. So, did Daddy Pig's car drive itself to another location? Now this next mistake is really hilarious. In the episode Santa's Grotto, it is Christmas time, and all of the children go to visit Santa's grotto to tell him what they would like for Christmas. When Peppa and her family go to the Christmas fair, we can also see Zoe Zebra and her mother at the fair. But the mistake is, Zoe and her mother are also on the Ferris wheel. You might think that they are different characters of the same species, but it's not possible, because they're wearing the exact same clothes. How's this even possible? Moving on, in the episode The Market, Peppa and family take a trip to the market to buy some items. After purchasing apples, they visit Miss Cow's stall. Notice Daddy Pig holding a basket of apples, and Mummy Pig is standing right behind him. But the issue is, when Daddy Pig gets knocked off to the floor from the smell of the cheese, Mummy Pig and the basket disappear. And that's not all. Moments later, when the pig family goes to Mr. Fox's stall, he shows them a variety of items. Firstly, he shows them a wooden apple, and after that, he shows them plastic cheese. Notice that the wooden apple is still there, but when the scene zooms out, the wooden apple simply disappears. I'm not surprised by this because there's always something fishy going on with Mr. Fox. Moving on, in the episode Gym Class, Madame Gazelle takes the children to Grampy Rabbit's gym class, and when they get to the gym, Grampy Rabbit briefs them about the class. Now focus on the position of Candy Cat and Emily Elephant. As we can see, Candy Cat is towards the farther side and Emily is at the near side. But the mistake is, in the very next scene, their position interchanges. Within a millisecond, they just swapped their positions. And that's not all. Later in the episode, when Grampy Rabbit is telling the kids a story, the scene switches to Danny Dog with Zoe Zebra behind him. But the issue is, when the scene zooms out, now look where Zoe Zebra is standing. She's now behind Susie Sheep. Now let's look at another disappearance case. In the episode Library, Peppa and her family go to the library to get some new books. And when Miss Rabbit takes Peppa and George to the children's section, we can notice a table and 4 chairs. But the issue is moments later, Mummy Pig reads out a story to Peppa and her friends, and the scene zooms out. But wait, where's the table and chairs? They are gone. And you might be thinking that they probably moved them. Well, it's not possible because seconds later, the table and chairs magically reappear. In the episode The Playground, Peppa and George visit the playground with their friends. In one of the scenes, Daddy Pig gets up on the slide, but he gets stuck while sliding down. Poor Daddy Pig. But that's not the mistake here. To help free Daddy Pig, Peppa and her friends get on the slide. Now look carefully at the order here. First it's Peppa, then Susie, Danny Dog, Candy Cat, Rebecca and Pedro. So far so good, but when they successfully free Daddy Pig from the slide, they go down it, one by one. But the mistake is, when we see the slide again, Rebecca Rabbit isn't there anymore. And that's not all. When the scene switches towards Daddy Pig, we can notice Rebecca Rabbit jumping from the slide. But the issue is, earlier she was sitting behind Candy Cat, but here she jumped before him. How can it be even possible? In the episode Sailing Boat, Peppa and George go sailing with Grandpa Pig. They get on his boat and realize there is no tide to sail. Soon, the tide comes and the 3 pigs happily sail. But later in the episode, they lose the tide and get stranded in the sea. Now look carefully. When Grandpa Pig is calling Grandma Pig, if we zoom onto the deck, we can notice there is no hatch there. But seconds later, when the scene zooms in, a hatch magically appears in front of Grandpa Pig. And that's not all. Later, when Peppa and George go to bed, we can notice they go to bed wearing life jackets on top of their regular clothes. But the next morning, when Peppa wakes up, we can notice she's now wearing her nightgown. In the episode New House, Daddy Pig takes Peppa and George to visit the home that Mr. Bull is building. Later in the episode, when the house is ready, Mr. Bull places a swing right beside the house. While Peppa is playing on a swing, their new neighbors, the Wolf family, arrive. Now look carefully. As we can see here, Peppa is on the swing, while the Wolf family exits the car. But when they walk up to the Pig family, the swing magically disappears. How can it be possible? A few seconds ago, Peppa was playing on the swing, but now it's no longer there. So, these were some errors we found in Peppa Pig. See you in the next video.